Today's need for graduates in the computer science field is pretty strong. It's estimated that about 80% of the computer science professionals are going to retire within the next 5 to 8 years. That combined with the growth of the internet and the cloud and some of these applications is going to really require a greater number of people in the industry. Today we're going to meet with Mike Gaffney, who is a professor of the computer science program at Century College, and learn more about the program. And then later we're going to go and meet with one of his recent graduates and learn about what he does at a day-to-day job as a computer engineer. Hello. Hi, Mike. It's Scott Simonson from Century College. We are going to try and arrange a time today or the next couple days to talk about our programs at Century. Would today work for you?
Yeah, that'd be great. Let's see. How does Stump Brothers sound for you?
Perfect. I could be there in about half an hour.
Okay, I'll meet you then.
All right, sounds good. Thanks. See ya.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Simonson, and this is IT Professionals in Cars Getting Java. Okay, Mike, so could you tell me a little bit about the computer science program at Century College?
Well, the computer science program is a little different from some of the other programs in that we're exclusively really a 2+2.
Okay.
We're a transfer program, so our students might move right into the workforce, but that's not at all what we're trying to promise.
Okay.
Most computer science related occupations, if you're not coming into the field with something else, employers are looking for a 4-year degree, or some other background that's going to be of benefit to them. So we transfer a lot of students to the University of Minnesota. Okay. We transfer a lot of students to Metropolitan State and the University of Wisconsin, River Falls being the closest schools to the area. But we've sent people around the country. We've had students go to Madison, had a student go to Montana. So we work with whomever the students want to work with to try to get our program fixed into what they need and work with the professors at the other schools to make sure they understand what we're offering.
Okay. All right, great. Can you talk a little bit about the need for graduates of computer science program?
The need for graduates is huge. I was actually looking at this a couple of weeks ago, and the projections are over the next 5 or 6 years that we are going to have comfortably twice as many job openings as we're graduating Bachelor of Science. So the industry, through massive growth, it's as big a growth industry as anything, and through retirements and other attrition, we just do not have the people. So someone who is going into this field would go so far as to say you could write your own ticket, but the work is there and the choice of work is there.
Yeah, that's typical of a lot of the data that I've looked at also, that the job growth is amazing today, but it's even going to be greater in the next 5 years. So, what are some of the characteristics or skills that students need to have as they start your program?
But your biggest skills are your abstract reasoning skills. You need to be able to think through problems in sort of a mathematical or logical way. Okay. So generally, the stronger your math background, the better off you're going to be. Okay. But our program is designed to allow for multiple pathways in. Okay. So we do have courses that are technically below where our primary sequence starts to help students into that level if either their math background's not all that solid, or if they want a course that's a little bit gentler, I might say, to get a feel for whether they even like this particular type of work and have an aptitude for it.
Okay. And then what about when students graduate either through your program or when they go on and graduate from a 4-year degree program, what are some of the job titles or the jobs that students get when they finish?
Well, probably the biggest job title is something in the neighborhood of software developer, software engineer, that sort of thing. That is a really broad job title, though. There are a lot of different languages, a lot of different types of software development, developing normal application software, developing Windows 10. The big diversity when a student is going to be starting out in the industry, because in all likelihood it is going to be a position that involves programming, is what industry they're working in. And that's really what I find to be the most exciting thing about computer science. Is it is part of, by this point, every single industry out there. And it's just getting more so. So you can do really whatever type of work you want to do. I mean, if you're looking for a good job, there are a lot of just good jobs out there, good corporate jobs. But there's scientific research. There's organizations, many organizations that make a really strong social impact. And so whatever it is you're looking to get out of your professional life, you can find it.
Okay, well, great. Well, we've learned an awful lot about the computer science program today, and so we're very appreciative of you spending some time. I understand that you've arranged for us to go talk to one of your graduates.
Yes, Dennis Rausch graduated a number of years back. He's actually still working on his bachelor's degree, but he's also working full-time for the state of Minnesota in downtown St. Paul. So we're going to go in and have a little chat with him about what his job entails.
All right, well, I can hardly wait to meet him and listen to what some of his experiences are. So let's head off down to St. Paul and see if we can find a parking place.
That sounds good.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you. It's really good to see you again.
You too.
It's been a few years. So I understand you're working with the State Department of Health.
Yep. I'm a Java application developer. When we do a new application, I'll do business analysis. I go out and talk to the users and see what they need, do pre-development stuff, planning, and then actually write the code, develop the application, test it, deploy it, and do any bug fixes and anything else involved with the process.
Dennis, how did you get to Century College in the computer science program?
That's kind of an interesting story. I was working as a salesman, a full-time job. I was about 25 years old and I got laid off. This was back 2008, 2009 when the economy tanked. And I got laid off in the spring and I just decided, well, yeah, I've been working these kind of crappy jobs for many years, go back to school. So that was in April and I started at Century in May.
So it was a good career choice. You're very happy in your job as in the computer science field, and would you recommend a similar path for students looking to get into the computer science field?
As far as did I choose the appropriate path? I think I did. By the time I had my associate's degree, I had already completed 2 internships and had a job lined up. So it was pretty effective in helping me attain my goals.
So what would you recommend to students interested in going into software development, computer science, as to how to succeed when they're starting out in college?
Well, the things that you learn in college in a computer science program is basically learning how to learn. You're not going to learn a lot of the necessities that you're going to use from day to day. That's all application. It's frameworks, it's tools, it's different things. But if you can learn how to learn this stuff, it'll be a lot easier in the long run.
Okay. And what about opportunity for women in the IT field, and especially in the computer science area?
You know, it's funny that you bring that up. Our CIO here is a woman, and many of our directors are women. I mean, we have a lot of women working for IT at the Department of Health, and a lot of them make it very high in the ranks. The previous state CIO, in fact, was a woman as well. So there are plenty of opportunities out there for any females, males, whoever that's interested in IT or computer science.
So you talked a little bit about the teamwork and the group work in IT. Can you talk a little bit about the people skills or the communication skills for people in this particular role?
It can go a couple different ways. if you just write code and you're doing private contracts, you can get by with only having nonverbal communications with people, maybe communicating via email, things like that. In the role that I'm in, I'm actually a lead developer. I'm talking with customers and team members and supervisors, different people all the time. Couple hours worth of meetings a day. So it really depends. I mean, you can get into roles where you never have to say a word to anybody, and if that's your thing and you like to sit at home and write code, I'm sure there's someone that will hire you to sit at home and write code. If you like to be a social butterfly and go to meetings and take charge and you want to be on a leadership track, that's a perfectly viable option as well.
What about the future need for people in your career? Can you talk a little bit about the opportunity for new students starting a program like this?
Well, if LinkedIn can be any indicator, I get probably 50 communications a week from talent recruiters trying to get me to do contracts and permanent positions. So, I mean, IT for the state there's always openings. IT in the private sector, yeah, it's doing really well.
Okay, a lot of opportunity then.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Well, we appreciate your time and your insights. This has been very beneficial, and so yeah.
Thanks very much. We'll let you get back to work.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Thanks.
You bet. Rat poison.
I'm going to restart that because I don't know where that sentence was going. We could put take 147 on it.
Well, I say that's because I live a half an hour away from almost anywhere.